Welcome to the Utah Puck Report. I'm your host, Jay Stevens. Very excited to have Ryan Kinasewich. Ryan, you've been a guest a lot on the show, and I want to make sure that we keep taking care of the Utah Grizzlies. We're not going to forget about you guys. And I think, and we'll get into this more, but I think the Grizzlies are going to have a sudden burst of attendance. So first off, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. You know, obviously said this is my seat that I've been in a bunch of times.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I did say you go to your normal seat.
obviously good to be back, but yeah, I think you're right with that. Like, I think hockey's about to take off here. Not that, I mean, it has, but I think it's about to explode. And I mean, the Grizzlies are still in town, and I think our attendance is going to reflect on that.
Yeah, and what I've talked about before is I think more and more people are going to find out how amazing hockey is. People that really maybe didn't have exposure or chose not to expose themselves too much to hockey, and they're going to keep watching games, and they're going to be like, okay, well, I can't afford to go to 10, Utah Hockey Club games, but man, for the price of a movie ticket, I can go watch the Grizzlies, drafted players that played juniors in NCAA, and it's good hockey, and they're going to be able to go to a ton of games for a lot cheaper.
Yeah, and I mean, even for families, like taking your family to an NHL game is pretty expensive. But, maybe you're doing that once, twice a year. But the Grizzlies, we have 36 home games, and, it's very, very affordable, and it's great hockey. Like you said, we have a lot of guys guys in our league that have played in the NHL and are going to continue to feed the NHL and AHL as we go along.
Yeah. And you were part of that for a long time. And what is it like knowing? Like, do you think the players are excited about this? Like, maybe because you get sent to Utah before, like when you were a player here, and do you get kind of isolated when you're in Utah? And now that there's an NHL team here, do you think more players will want to come here and be like, hey, I can probably get some more exposure to an NHL team?
Yeah, obviously, they're right in our backyard, right? So to see scouts at our games, from the Utah Hockey Club, we might see a little bit more of that. But a lot of our guys are from bigger cities, right? Minnesota, Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, Edmonton, and they all have NHL franchises. So I think just the fact that our guys can, on a night off, can step over and see their hometown team or their favorite team, I think it's pretty cool because, I grew up in Edmonton, so I think the Oilers come here once, but I think we play on that night.
Uh-huh.
It would have been cool to go see my hometown team. Obviously, us being with the Avs as well. I think they're in twice this year. I know they're in for a preseason game at the Maverick Center.
Yeah.
But then they have 2 regular season games here, so I haven't seen how that lines up, but it'd be nice to go and check them out as well.
Do you know, is that game sold out at the Maverick Center?
As far as I know, yeah. I think it's sold out pretty quick.
Yeah, I thought it sold out pretty quick. Then I keep seeing ads for it, and maybe it's just,
Just the odd ticket here and there, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
You and I were talking a few weeks ago, and you were talking, we're just trying to set up a golf date, and you were talking about some of the players you're signing, and you're like, and hopefully it's okay for me to say this on the air, but you're like, I'm excited. Like, we're going to be good this year.
Yeah.
And I know that, since you've taken over at the helm, like you started right off with just unbelievable teams. And for you to be that excited about it now, it's got to tell me you've got some real talent coming in this year. Anybody you can talk about right now?
I mean, not really on the AHL front. Just because those guys got to go through their process stuff before they see where they end up. But we one of our guys we signed, Gianni Fairbrother, he was just coming off an entry-level contract with Montreal and was traded to the Avs. He's had some injury issues throughout his pro career, but so we're hoping to get him down here and work with him and get him back to where we think he belongs.
So just to explain that to some of our audience, when you talk about their AHL process, when you're looking at guys, you're like, hey, sign with us, we'll get you a two-way, or at least we'll send you to camp with Colorado, with the Eagles in the A, so that at least they get that exposure and the opportunity to make that roster. And if they don't, then they're guaranteed to come to you.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense. Like, those players are really hoping to make the Eagles, but odds are they'll end up here.
Yeah, Fairbrother's different. I mean, he's he's an ECHL contract with me, so he was with the Eagles last year or Colorado under NHL deal. So I actually got him a different tryout in the American Hockey League, just to get some new eyes on him, and that was a pretty big selling point for him. And he's obviously comfortable and knows how we operate here, so he was looking to come back as long as I could help him out to get a different organization looking at him. So I'm really excited to see what he has. Hopefully stays healthy, and I think he'll be one of the top defenders in our league.
He played like 6 games with?
I think 8.
8,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, but
that's another thing that like to be an ECHL coach, man, you've got to, you're not just coaching, you're GMing, and you're not just giving players or taking players from Colorado. Like, you've got to have a lot of contacts.
Yeah.
And for a deal like that, you got to be like, hey, I know another AHL coach, or I know another. Like, you have to keep those contacts. It's such a unique position to be in.
Yeah, ECHL head coach, GM, even assistant coach. You wear so many hats, and there's never a dull day. Something different going on every day. We deal with the apartments, the travel, all that. So our days are pretty busy. But returning my assistant coach, Christian Horn, will be the first assistant coach that'll actually spend 2 years with me.
Oh, nice. Because you're so hard to work with.
It's I'm really hard on these guys. But,
yeah.
When Tegan's on our first year, he was here, and, life got in the way. And, Jared Pike, I think he's becoming a firefighter now.
Oh, really?
Out in West Valley. So,
he reached out to me a little bit, and I tried to help him through. There's a path we have to take, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, let's be honest, it's not the most glamorous, high-paying job, especially for the assistant, and it takes a special person to stick around for that amount of time, and it's great to have Christian back. My whole staff is actually back this year. I know our equipment manager had a couple opportunities in the American League as well, but he decided to stay.
Really? I wondered about that, because there's a lot, like, those guys get a lot of exposure too.
Oh, they get a ton, and typically those guys move up faster than coaches do. Just because you get a guy, and we've had a lot of guys through here, Chris Shornack, Ryan Tall, John Loeffner, they're all, I think Ryan's not in the NHL anymore, but John and Chris are. But, it's a quick pathway for them if they're really good at their jobs. And Jackson's one of those guys that he's been awesome for us. But I think him being young with the new Utah Hockey Club coming into town, maybe there's an opportunity for him there. You know? So maybe that's what he has his sights on.
Yeah, I wondered, because, and I know, he's got a lot of respect. He does a good job. Mm-hmm. And people that do a good job, like you said, especially trainers. It's funny because I'm good friends with the Beast from Idaho. And, like, he's been with Idaho for 20 some odd years.
Yeah.
And every year he gets another offer or whatever. And he's so set up in Idaho that he'll never leave.
Yeah, and they have a great setup there. Not so do we, but Beast has found a home. And he's happy, and he clocks in, I think, September 1st every year. And I think Jackson just said he had his annual first call with him September 1st. That's when Beast clocks in. So he's great to work with, and that, I mean, relationships is such a big part of it, and how these guys get along, because we see a lot of these teams a lot. So if those relationships are strained, if they're coming in for a week, it's not that fun,
Right. That's another thing I think a lot of people don't understand, is that, man, it's constant support on both ends, right? Like, when they come into town, the equipment guys and everybody else, even the training staff sometimes has to get out and help the other team, and whatever animosity happens or whatever fights happen on the ice, you got to kind of separate it from off the ice and help each other out. And, you come in, you give them tape and bubble gum and water or
Towels, whatever they need. They're good to us. So, I mean, we're good to everyone. That's just our motto. That's the way we're going to operate. We're going to operate as professional as we can be, and we're not going to hold grudges. Again, life's too short to hold those grudges, and we're always going to be professional. And I have a great staff in place that takes care of everyone.
So, returning staff, everybody's great. You've got your assistant coach is back. I love him.
Yeah, he's a fun guy.
He is a lot of fun.
Bubbly
He's
personality.
got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
He was fun. That was the few times I got to E-Bug last year. I really got to know him a little bit better, and then hang around in some of the locker room discussions when you're looking for goaltenders or whatever, and get to kind of know his personality a little bit better. He is a lot of fun, and he's good to have on the team.
Yeah.
So, but what else makes you excited about this year that you can talk about? Like, let's get the fans pumped up.
Yeah. So what we have is a lot of depth coming back, and depth that I wanted back. Obviously it's Christian and my job to build a team, and we got some guys like Luke Manning, Cole Gallant. We just signed another defenseman yesterday who was with us when we went to the conference final run. So James Shear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's fine, but we just re-signed him.
I really liked him.
Yeah, he was over in Europe and had an injury last year and just didn't really get the offers he wanted. And obviously, familiar spot in Utah. He's comfortable with me and in the city, and so that's a massive signing on our back end too. So we're really pumped about that.
Yeah, he seemed like just a real stable defenseman. Like he was.
Yeah, he's a warrior.
Yeah,
he's gonna block every shot. He's gonna hit. He's gonna produce points. He's kind of your jack of all trades back there.
Nice. Can we talk about goaltenders? Are you gonna get one from Colorado?
We're gonna get two.
You're gonna get two from Colorado.
We're gonna get two, and then we have another one that's. He'll be in LA for the rookie tournament.
Okay.
And we're hoping to sign him to our deal right now, but we're going to be strong in every position this year.
Nice.
And we were last year. It was just unfortunate. Like Trent Miner got called up end of October, and then Garrett obviously had his career-ending injury, and, our 1-2 are gone by November. And trying to replace that position, as it's so crucial, and we got Will Cranley in, who was a St. Louis NHL contract, and he was young, and he did okay at times, but you're not going to replace a Trent Miner or a Garrett Metcalf.
Well, Miner, it just blows my mind. That was one of the things I wanted to talk to Tim about, was if Miner's going to be a starter and Colorado this year. I imagine he's got to be.
Well, as far as I know, that their starting position's kind of open for the net's open for them. So, Trent coming off the year he had there with the Eagles last year, he finally got a good look up there. And you saw the numbers.
The numbers here were ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, even with them last year. I mean, he's proven it. Like, he's a great goaltender. And
do you think it's just because of his size? Like, because he's not tall. And now everybody's obsessed with tall goaltenders. Is that what the issue is with him?
A little bit, but he's not small. He's 6'1".
Yeah.
But goalie standards, like most of them are looking for 6'4" and up.
Yeah, and I've heard this. There was some documentary or something that I watched, or some behind the scenes with Bishop. And they were talking about how basically he was a pretty good goalie, and he just got every chance in the world because of how tall he was. And they're like, he's got the tools. He's not an NHL goalie, but we'll make him an NHL goalie. And this goes back to when he was like 16 years old.
Yeah.
And
because you can't, like the old saying, you can't teach size.
Right.
Right? That's the way it is. And I know there's some NHL teams that won't draft guys that are under 6'4".
Yeah, and I've been hearing that a lot lately. And then to say, and to hear myself say it, do you think it's Trent's size? Because he's 6'1", and you'd think that's tall enough, but no, they want 6'4" and plus.
Well, I mean, you also got to bring in these NHL shooters into account. Like, where do they like to shoot?
Yeah, wherever they want. Top corners.
If you got a smaller goalie in there,
they're
exposing, the upper quarter of the net, but they don't even need that. The way these guys shoot the puck nowadays is, it's crazy.
I just told the story about when
me scoring on you in practice.
Oh man, there's too many of those to tell.
Yeah, we can't. I mean, we need hours. Yeah.
Ryan used to stay. We would do warm ups together for the Grizzlies, and then Ryan would stay on the ice and just want me to stand there and get lit up. I think you were trying to let me have a save, and you're still just blowing them right past me.
Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, I don't know if you got a hole in your glove, but hopefully you got that fixed.
Yeah, well, I keep buying bigger and better gear. But no, I remember when Colby Armstrong got sent down, and I've told this story before, but he came down. I did not know I didn't know he'd been added. Like, he just came to skate. And I knew Trevor Lewis was there, and, you know, and I played with Trevor his whole life, so I wasn't that, like, worried about Trevor's shot. But this guy comes down and snipes me blocker side, and I'm like, all right. I'm not
worried about Lewis's shot.
Never.
Are you gonna tell him that to his face?
Yeah, no. I've got a great video of Tegan robbing Trevor,
yeah.
and then Tegan kind of gloated a little bit, and Trevor just let one go that missed the net, but then hit the crossbar, the backboard, and then you could hear, like, it must have been a 100-miler, which probably Trevor's only 100-miler, but then you could hear it like 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, and then drop clear in the back ice because he just wasn't going to take 15-year-old Tegan gloating.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kept cheating over to the side. I'm like, I'm not going to let this guy beat me on that blocker again. And at one point, I think I just put my blocker in the corner of the net, and then he just beat me 7-hole. And I was like, there's nothing you can do on these NHL shooters that are scorers.
Yeah.
They
can pick a corner.
But
they just like that. You go to that RVH that all these goalies are going to.
Yeah.
And there's that big debate, like, you being a goalie, like, what do you think of the RVH? Because you leave so much of that top corner, the short side corner, exposed. And
if RVH is used right,
it's effective.
Good.
But
good
I think
when you need
it's
to
a
use
crutch to some of these goalies now.
100% a crutch.
Like, they always resort back to that, and then, like, we see it, like, a lot of guys come out of college or junior, and their goalie coaches teach that predominantly, and it's a bad habit. When it's done incorrectly.
When it's done wrong.
Yeah.
You have 5 feet from the goal line. You have 5 feet that's effective.
Yeah.
If the puck's behind the net or 5 feet to that. But the minute it gets near the hash marks, the goalie's got to recover and cover the top of that net. Exactly. And that's where they don't. And you got Jonathan Quick to blame for that because he's the first, like, VH was the thing.
Yeah.
Getting that vertical pad up against the post. But Jonathan Quick found that he was quicker coming off his post that way. And then when he wins a couple
Which
cups.
makes sense because you're loaded up in your legs and you can move quicker, right? And he's not the biggest goalie either. But
right.
The way he moves made him so special, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's my favorite goalie. So that's why I mimic the way he plays, whether I wanted to or not.
Did you move like him?
Yeah, I move exactly like him.
Yeah, I can't tell the difference out there.
It's
like, we'll put a number 32 Kings jersey on you.
Yeah.
Like, is that Jonathan Quick or Jay Stevens?
It'd be tough to tell, except for I'm taller.
Yeah, true.
No.
True, yeah.
It's funny because a lot of people think that's why I always bought silver and purple gear too. But that was just because I went to Weber State.
Yeah.
Like, I was a silver purple guy before Quick was in the NHL. But yeah, you think about a guy like Trent Miner being 6'1", but he's made it this far, which means he usually knows how to cover the top of the net.
Yeah.
Or even there are some 5'10" goalies that can still cover the top of the net. The trick is just don't butterfly for every shot.
And that's the thing is, like, these shooters are so good though. They'll just blow through your 5-hole if you're standing up or, low blocker. I still think there's room. I still think these goalies that are athletic enough, I still think there's room for goalies that aren't 6'4". I agree. Like, we had Dante Giannuzzi last
year. I love Dante.
He's moved on. He's with Maine now, but, like, you watch his quick. I've never seen a quicker goalie.
Really?
Yeah. He just, like, but with him, they got to be more aggressive. They got to come out and cut off angles, and sometimes it gets them in trouble. They lose their net. But that's like an ultimate competitor for us last year,
And that's the knock on Quick now is that he chases shooters, which that's your job, right? Your job is to take the shot and then let everybody else worry about the pass. But it looks really bad when you chase a shooter clear behind the goal line almost, and he just passes to the open front of the net. All right, that's a lot more goaltending talk than I thought I'd get out of you.
Well, I've studied the goalies, because I like to score on them. So you try and find their weaknesses, right?
You never seem to have a problem scoring on goalies.
Yeah. So
So
knowing their craft a little bit.
So it's all cerebral with you?
Well, not really, but like I've also had the luxury of working with Ryan Bach and Peter Budai, coming in as the Eagles coaches.
Yeah.
And they send me drills every day and explain what we want. So like I've seen a different side of that being a coach.
Yeah.
So, and it makes a lot of sense. Like when I played, I didn't think that way, but now Budai's since moved on to, I think he's in Anaheim now, but working with him at development camp, Eagles camp, when he'd come to town with us was awesome, because you learn the goalie side of it a little bit. So when our guys are struggling, like Christian or myself, hopefully have enough, info and knowledge to kind of help them, so that's we've paid really close attention on that because unfortunately we don't have a full-time goalie coach, so we got to be out there working with them, and us being more knowledgeable is a benefit to them.
That's one of the things that we've been preaching to youth coaches forever, because youth coaches hardly ever, unless they were a goalie, they hardly ever think about goaltenders in their practice setups. It's just like, oh, our guys are going to shoot here, we're going to shoot here. Last week we couldn't do this drill, so we're going to make sure our players are pulling the pucks off here and getting shots on net, instead of saying, hey, our goaltender was kind of struggling with these pass outs or whatever, and let's sharpen that.
Well, we before every practice with our guys, obviously morning skate's a little different, but we do a goalie skate every morning.
Yeah.
So if we have 3 goalies, we usually start at 9:30, get 4 shooters out there and run them through drills that are sent to us by Colorado. So, if one guy's saying, I'm struggling at the, low to high up to the face-off dot, just finding that angle, then we'll specifically work on drills. And, we obviously, I'm not a goalie expert, but we go to them and see what they want to work on and, design drills that are going to help them.
No, that's huge. That's huge. And that's the kind of stuff that, like I said, I think every youth coach needs it. Mm-hmm. And again, they're not going to know, but at least to think about it from that perspective and kind of hope to get your goalies better, and maybe even just Google some stuff and be like, hey,
that's what I was going to say. Like, you can go on YouTube or whatever and type in goalie drills. You're going to find how many?
Yeah.
A ton.
A lot, yeah. And there's a few different systems. When I was coaching, there was one that even had animated drills, and it was like it had a whole goalie section.
Yeah.
And I'd pull those up, and it was nice to run our coach, or run my kids through that, and then tweak my goaltending coaching and all that stuff based on those drills that you can find anywhere.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of that, what are your summers like? What do you do during the summer while you're not coaching? Are you just coaching youth?
Yes, a little bit. I helped out with Jack Skilly's camp this summer, so I didn't really know Jack. I met him this year. One of our players, Mick Mesner, who will be back with us, is actually Jack's cousin.
Okay.
So Jack would come down and see him, so I got to meet Jack and, play a little bit of golf with him this summer and helped him out with his academy and do that. And obviously we're always talking to agents, trying to, build the team and try and relax a little bit. Our 8 months of our season's pretty stressful, so
yeah,
the phone's still ringing nonstop, but that's just part of the gig. So.
Yeah, that's awesome, and that's another part. Like for you, it's just nonstop because you coach, you got a GM, you got, like we talked about before. It's just nonstop work. Do we want to talk about your summer program at all?
Yeah, we can throw it in there.
What do you got?
It's more of it's a year-long program. It's called Perfect Skating.
Okay.
It's developed by the old Colorado Avalanche skills coach. And 350 plus NHLers use this program today. So this is kind of their summer training and stuff that they use throughout the year. And Sean Allard, his son's actually drafted by the Utah Hockey Club.
I was going to say, I know that last name.
Yeah. So he's actually Connor McDavid and Dreisaitl's skating coach. So the stuff that this company brings is kind of next level. And, I think bringing it into Utah at this time where hockey, I think, is about to really explode, to give these kids here, an awesome program that's very versatile. There's so many different things you can do with it. It's power skating, but it's also skills, on ice drills that are game-like and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited. We're just getting it off the ground, so hopefully it keeps building momentum. But, going through the training for it last week, it's awesome. I've never seen anything like it, and I think the kids here are going to love it.
How does it work year round?
So
they have access to you as a coach year round?
So we have coaches we've hired.
Okay.
So they'll have access to them. Obviously, with my job, I'm not here a lot of the times. But so the first 40 weeks, you can sign up for a 10-week program, and it's once a week for 10 weeks, and that's the perfect skating model of it. And that's a lot of the power skating, but there is a lot of puck and skill work involved in that. And there's also SAM programs that we offer. It's small area movements that incorporates the perfect skating side with a lot of the skill side. So there's just so many different avenues we can take with this program to really not have a dull day with it, but still implement the perfect skating side of it. So obviously we know skating is imperative in hockey, and even more so nowadays. There's not the clutch and grab from back when I played, and you get away with that. Like, guys, you flying around the ice now, and I think this program is obviously, with the 350 plus NHLers using it, it's effective.
Well, it's interesting because on this show and even on KSL Sports, I've said one of the players that stood out to me so far the most that I've seen is Owen Allard.
Yeah.
Like there was something more to his step.
Yeah.
So it's weird that it's his dad.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's something to that. And then you throw in Connor McDavid and Draisaitl and stuff. I mean, those are McDavid's the best skater in the league.
Yeah. You ask any kid who's the best player in the league.
Yeah.
90. I mean, depending on the area you're in, like we're kind of in Vegas, Colorado country, so some of them might say McKinnon.
Yeah. I know Madison would say McKinnon over here.
Yeah. Or Makar, but like Makar is like Sean was in Colorado for years and worked with all these guys. So he's awesome, and he knows what he's doing. So this program he's created it's next level, and I think kids are really going to enjoy it.
That's amazing. I want to know what the secret is, because McDavid and stuff, like that's amazing skating, and their edge works and their explosiveness is incredible. But if it's the same guy that's coaching Makar, I want to know, because Makar doesn't seem to be on skates. Like, I don't know how he goes.
It just seems like he's floating up.
Yeah, like I don't even get it.
Yeah.
How does a guy go that like he just changes directions so quick? I'd love to know how that
a lot
works.
of it like is covered in this program, and I'm not saying you're going to skate.
You're not going to be Makar tomorrow?
Not tomorrow. If that was the quick fix, I mean, I'd go take it today and hopefully be in the NHL tomorrow. But as you know, you got to work at your craft, and the more you do it and repetition, and the better you're going to become, right?
So that's just starting with you guys. If somebody's looking to do it with you, do they is there a website?
Perfectskating.ca.
Okay.
So, and there's a Utah section in there now, and everything's just fresh, like just happened recently. So as we grow and progress, hopefully it becomes more and more of a thing here. And
it's you and Tim Branham.
Tim Branham, yeah.
So as you guys, will you come back on the show later and tell us more about how it's going? Because
we
have a lot of parents that want to know how to make their kids better. We get more feedback on that than almost anything, except for the freaking NHL club's name.
Yeah. No, I know it's coming, but Tim and I would love to sit down with you, whether it's via Zoom or whatever, just to discuss it more. Obviously, it's new to us too, so but we've seen it implemented in the Avalanche development camp, stuff like that. So like we've seen those guys do it, and the attention that like these guys pay, and it just grabs your attention right away, because it's really next level, and it's awesome.
All right. Oh, I'm excited to hear more about it.
Yeah, and I was doing the training last week for it, so my body's a little sore.
Nice.
I haven't been on the ice that much working on my game in a long time. So.
Yeah, and you were a good skater. You were fast. Are you already like, this would have helped me?
You know, now that I think about it, if I had something like this, like I'd say my biggest downfall was probably not, I was a good skater, but like I could have used that extra pop,
Yeah.
you know, and that's what this program teaches, and teaches you to get on, you know, your edges and all these, you know, there's a lot of terminology that obviously Tim and I can share with you once things get a little more concrete here. So
Very cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to, you know, I know some of it has to be kept secret for a little while, and I didn't know how much.
I mean, it's here. It's just, you know, we want to put the best product out there as possible, and we want to show the kids that, you know, I think that's been one of the things in Utah is there's good coaching here, but you're going to see better coaching come in.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
You look at the state of Florida right now. Like, it is insane. 2 NHL teams there. And the amount of kids that they're producing out of the state of Florida, like you'd never think, right?
Right.
So, yeah, we're just excited to be able to bring in such a great program.
Well, that's my argument with a lot of this stuff where, you know, getting an NHL team and a lot of people saying, oh, it's just going to water down the NHL. I'm like, no, I think we keep discovering more talent. We get into these, and Utah is ripe with athletes.
Yeah.
We put a ton of guys into Major League Baseball or basketball or at least NCAA. Football for sure.
Yeah.
But if you start exposing those same athletes at a younger age to hockey and get them better coaching, which the NHL brings into that area, because you'll have guys come and play here, then they'll retire here, or coaches come here and they stay here, or, you know, it just builds up the area. I think you find more athletes like an Austin Matthews that would have not been a hockey player if it wasn't for the Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah. And I think you're like, obviously you got Trevor Lewis here, right? I mean, you had Brickley that played some NHL games, but I think with the NHL team coming in, it's going to start producing on a more regular basis, you know, and I think it's just only going to strengthen the youth program. You know, before, you know, the youth program, you hit a certain age, you kind of almost had to leave the state to progress, right? So the hope is that this NHL team's huge for hockey, and it's a winter sport state. You know, we're hosting another Olympics here in, was it
10 years? Yeah. 34.
So, I mean, hockey's a big part of the Olympics, and obviously with the NHL players coming back into the Olympics, it's awesome. You know what? I don't know if you watched the last Olympics when they didn't have the NHL guys. It wasn't. You want to see the best.
Yeah, you do want to see the best,
and that's what the Olympics is all about. So, yeah, I think it's cool. Like I saw at the airport the other day, they already have the sign up for hosts of the 2002 and 34 Olympics. So.
Yeah, no, it's going to be huge for us for sure, and the sport's just going to keep growing. And it's funny. I've interviewed almost all the players, and almost all the players on the Utah Hockey Club bring up somebody that they played with or are related to that played for the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
And they all there.
It's a small world.
Yeah,
like,
it really
as
is.
You know, like, I've had a story, but I can't remember. Somebody from years ago crossed paths with somebody I knew. But if it comes to me, I'll share it. But
well, one thing. This might have been right before your time, but Cole Beaudoin's dad, our other first-round draft pick, Eric Beaudoin, played for the Utah Grizzlies.
Yeah, was he in the IHL?
Yeah,
I remember seeing the story on draft day about that.
Yeah, he was in the I.
Yeah.
I was e-bugging, though. That's what the important part.
You've been e-bugging for a lot of years.
Am I the e-bug this year?
I don't know. We might have to have e-bug tryouts this year.
Oof.
No, I'm sure at some point you're going to see me send you a text or give you a call. Like, Jay, we need you.
This is year 26, I think.
Is it 26?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to at least get you to, 30?
Oh,
Are you trying to go higher?
No, sure. No, honestly, at first I was like, I just want to hit 20.
Yeah.
Well, at first I just wanted to get, I just wanted to be there. And then I was like, oh, if I could get a game, and then I got a game, and then I was like, all right, at 20, I need to get out of this.
I wasn't here. How did that game go?
The game went really well. I got a shutout.
Really?
Yeah.
So you got a win under your belt?
I think we ended in a tie when I got pulled out. We won. I don't think I got the win.
Did
we
it
won.
Go into overtime or shootout?
No, we scored in overtime against Rapid
With
City.
You in the net?
Nope. The other goalie came back for OT.
So you wouldn't technically
I didn't get the
win. Yeah.
I think I just got...
well, maybe we'll try and get you a win here.
Yeah, let's do that.
One of these days.
I'm getting...
We'll build a big lead.
I'm not getting better every year, though.
Why not? Maybe you got to go to Garrett Metcalf's hockey camps.
Yeah, maybe I should.
Because I went there 2 summers ago, and he had some older gentlemen there.
I'm
not saying you're old, but there was some.
I'm old. I get it. My mustache is even gray. I get it.
Oh, I'm starting to get gray. Like, I got gray everywhere now.
How old are you now?
I just turned 41 a couple weeks ago.
All right. I'm 10 years older than you.
Okay. So you're at 73?
Yeah, I'm 73. Yep. It's funny. I haven't heard it referred to being a 73 for a long time.
Well, like in the hockey world, it's all, you're like, now these guys, we just worked with a kid. He was a 2016. I was like,
what?
Wow. Like, he's 7 years old.
Yeah.
But that's,
wow.
2016. I'm an 83. Like,
yeah.
Seems like a long time ago. But
yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, so yeah, I'll e-bug. I'm down. Very cool. I'm excited about the Grizzlies this year. I'm excited to see more people in the stands for the Grizzlies this year.
I think you saw it like when things were starting to ramp up last year.
Yeah.
Our attendance took, like, as a coach, like, going into a rink with 8,000-9,000 on every Friday, Saturday night, like, it's fun.
Yeah.
Because you can feel the energy from, like, I'm a competitor. Everything I do is a competition, even with my wife. Like, so to feel our guys and their excitement, it just, it just resonates with us, and we're fired up, and it's awesome. So I'm really excited. I know the NHL team, a lot of people think, the Grizzlies might drop a 10, and it might happen. I don't know. But I really don't think that's going to be the case.
I don't think it's going to drop attendance. And I know a lot of people were like, even some people were like, I don't want the NHL. I want to keep our Grizzlies, which was just ludicrous to me. But because of what the NHL can do for this market, I do think we grow. I do think things get bigger and better.
Well, how many rinks did Ryan Smith say he's building? 5?
I don't know that he's...
Is he committed to it? Or I know he's committed to the practice rink, which is 2.
Yeah. That's the double sheet. Yeah. I keep trying to talk him into at least putting a 3-on-3 in there too. Yeah. For development's sake.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Just like
we need those
small area stuff, which is now a big part of USA Hockey.
Yep.
Every
exactly.
camp that's in town here has small area stuff, right?
Well, man, even when I was running my camp, that's been a few years ago now, USA Hockey was really like, hey, we want you to do small area stuff. And, Zach Parisi built that 3-on-3 rink in his area. Everybody's like, oh, that's for the kids. They're like, no, that's the That's how the NHL guys are stick handling the way they're stick handling now.
In a phone booth.
Yeah, they stick handle in a phone booth.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know that they've confirmed it. I'd heard.
Was there one in Harriman?
Yeah. All right. So what I had heard.
It's all hearsay now until
let's just say
broken, right?
It's hearsay. I heard they were looking Harriman, the Eagle Mountain, Saratoga Springs area. Looking for another rink in the north.
Brigham City.
I had not heard that far north.
I heard that. I mean,
but
it's all hearsay now. But like you also have to think with the Olympics coming.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be a facility or two get built for that.
Hopefully.
I would think, but maybe not with Ryan.
Plus, we already have all the same ones we had that had it before.
But those are, they're going to be 30 years old.
Yeah.
So, and they're still in fantastic shape.
Yeah, like the Maverick Center.
Yeah.
I love the Maverick Center. I think it's great. I'm glad they finally started doing some of the updates with the LED and stuff.
Oh, it looks awesome.
Looks amazing.
Like the Jumbotron and that north end 115-foot board, whatever it is across. It just makes your entertainment value go up, and a lot of people love seeing themselves on the big screen.
Yeah.
You're always hitting whoever you're there with.
Yeah, the kiss cam. We are. Very cool. Well, I've kept you for a long time. I had so much to talk to you about. I feel like I just haven't really been able to sit down and talk to you with all the changes that are going on. And I know you've got a new president or vice president. You got some new sales stuff coming up, and I think the Grizzlies are going to just. I'm excited because now all right. I do have one more question.
Okay.
And we were talking about.
Time.
All right, I know you got
time.
Perfect.
I came down. I made time for you, Jay.
I love it. All right, we talk about the time you went to the conference championship.
Yeah.
And the team that you had then, and as a coach, I know when I was coaching, I was like, if I just had X, we could have made it past this round.
Yeah.
What did you need that year, and what do you have this year that makes you more excited about this year?
Well, it's so hard to say because year to year. So that year, during the conference finals, we kept losing Trent Miner because that was the year the Avs won the cup. So they were pulling him up because it's got to be an NHL contract goalie. He was actually going into St. Louis at that time with the Avs on the road, and we would always lose him.
Yeah.
So it's hard, and it's a credit to the Avs. Like that year, we had the Avs going, the Eagles going, and us in the playoffs at the same time, which you don't see a lot of. But having your affiliates play can hurt you, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, but it's just a matter of health in it from top to bottom. So that year was, unfortunately, we lost Trent, and I really do think we would have got past Toledo there. But you just never know. Like, you could lose Trent to an injury. You could lose.
Right.
That year we had Dastu. He had 19 goals in the playoffs. It was absurd. But we could have lost him to a call-up, and we didn't. So a lot of it's luck, especially at this level. Like, not luck. Like, obviously you have a good team, but if you lose your top two players in a playoff round, that could certainly hurt you. And last year we missed the playoffs by 2 points. We lost our number one and number two goalie by November.
Yeah.
And, as we talked about earlier on, it's hard to replace those guys. Trent Miner and Garrett Metcalf just don't grow on trees, or otherwise everyone would have those goalies in their lineup, So
Nope.
You got to make do. And I loved our team last year. It was just one of the most important positions was compromised early on. And I think if Garrett would have stayed healthy, we're definitely making the playoffs. And
That would have been his break, too.
Yeah.
Because that guy's had everything
go
wrong for him.
And
Every time he got a chance, he got COVID or whatever. And here it is again. He has his break and finds out he needs hip replacement, and he can't even play hockey anymore.
He looks so good early on. Like, he had a shutout in preseason, shutout in the home opener, and he was just rolling. Like, he looked.
His game management was unreal. Like, you could just see him thinking everything through.
And he's such a nice person and comes from such a nice family. Like,
oh, absolutely.
So he's moved on to Long Island University as an assistant coach,
Which is amazing. That's one of our first Utah-born NCAA coaches.
Yeah, and you're going to start seeing more of that. And Garrett has paved the way for a lot of kids to believe and dream big because. We had Garrett kind of on our staff last year, as obviously with the injury, so he helped Christian and I, and he was awesome. Like, I now consider him a friend.
Oh.
Obviously he was a player before, but since the injury and the surgery, we've become closer friends, and I just talked to him yesterday. We shoot texts back and forth, and it's good to bounce ideas off of him, and I wish him all the best, and the hockey world's small, and you never know. We might cross paths. I'm sure we will at some point.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited that he got that opportunity. And I'm excited if you get two really solid goalies assigned here from Colorado, that kind of takes the sting out when they pull up your starter, because at least you have another guy that should be in the A.
The mindset this year is 3.
Okay.
And we ran into, like, Dante played 34 games last year signed as our third goalie.
Yeah.
Great break for him, and obviously him moving on, I wish him nothing but the best, but he did really well for us. But a 21-year-old goalie coming out of the Western League, he would have been better served to maybe play 10, 15 games. It was a heavy workload for him, but he handled it well, but Trent and Garrett were proven, so you knew, and it sends kind of a mindset through the team when you have a Trent Miner or a Garrett Metcalf in the net. You can make the odd mistake, right? So that being said, like, Dante was really good for us as a first year goaltender, young, and I'll watch him closely because I know he'll succeed in Maine.
Yeah, I thought he did really well, and he did just get, fed to the fire right away.
Yeah.
But a great kid, like
Unreal.
really love
Great
that
family.
kid. Great
Yep.
family. Yeah, they were close with the Mannix.
Yep.
They played together in the Western League. It was fun to see him come through, and I didn't, getting to know him was just really impressive. But yeah, that'll be a lot of fun seeing what happens this year and seeing what goaltenders you get. If you're excited about it, it makes me excited about it because I know that you've been tinkering and the thing that I thought you guys had that conference year was the conference championship year was that culture.
Yeah.
And with Miner and Dastu, I was kind of hoping that's who you were saying you're bringing back.
I would love to bring him back. I
don't even know where he is this year. He's still in
Sweden.
Europe? Sweet. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't think we can afford him
Yeah.
anymore.
What do they make over there? Hundreds?
Yeah, I don't know if he's north of 200,000
Yeah.
tax
Geez.
free. I could be wrong, but
It's got to be about that though.
he had tore up Finland, which is a very good league, and
Yeah.
we were very fortunate to have him. And you have those years where the stars kind of align.
Yeah.
But I'm very hopeful for this year that's one of those years because we got some solid pieces coming in.
Well, good, because you just have a way of building a good culture in a locker room.
Yeah.
And I've been around a lot of coaches in that exact same locker room, in the exact same seat for 25 plus years now. I've seen a lot of coaches come through, and I think you're the fairest coach I've ever seen. You're like straightforward with all the guys, even when it's an uncomfortable situation for them or conversation for you to have. Mm-hmm. I've seen you be just completely straightforward with them, which in the long run people appreciate. But somehow, I don't know what the magic is, but the culture you build in that locker room where the guys support each other and are happy for each other.
Yeah.
I saw one instance with a goaltender that, I don't know. Anyway, it was quickly dealt with. There was some toxicity in there, and within 10 days of it happening, both the player and the goalie that were toxic were gone.
Yeah, and my philosophy is I'm open and I'm honest with them, and I want good people inside that locker room. And if there is an issue, I've dealt with it, and I'm not going to put up with it because I've been a captain in this league, and I know what it's like to have a good culture. And one guy can ruin a room.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that. And we've had to get rid of a few guys, and it's been for the better. I know fans might not like it, or
fans don't get what happens in that locker room.
Yeah, but they don't see what's the day-to-day operations. And if I'm making a move to get rid of a guy, there's a reason.
Yeah.
I'm not just doing it.
And it's not just that you don't like them.
No.
Because
I might like them, but they might be an issue. And I lean on my leadership group heavily to see how my room's operating and how their room's operating. And, I meet with them once a week. And if there's issues, we usually find a way to rectify it.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, Ryan, UtahGrizzlies.com if you're looking for tickets, 801-988-8000.
Yeah. Same phone number.
Same phone number it's always been.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm excited. I'm excited that you're excited. Come back and join us a few times. Let's keep updated on what's going on with the team.
Yeah, it's gonna be. So we got 41 NHL games and 36.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to retire.
I know.
I'm just gonna be at the rink every night.
But it's just gonna be a buzz around the city. I'm excited, and obviously we got an NHL team here, and my wife's never been in an NHL game.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that makes sense because she's been wherever you've been, and
yeah, like over in Europe, there's no NHL teams there, and she's never been. Obviously with my schedule, but when we have a free night, we'll.
Yeah. Have you started looking like what night you can actually go to? I
haven't yet, but there's obviously going to be nights, right?
You guys play
because we're predominantly Wednesday, Friday, Saturday at home.
Yeah.
And the NHL they do a lot of Tuesdays. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday are huge in the NHL.
Yeah.
So a Tuesday night when her favorite team's the Detroit Red Wings. So
oof.
When they're in town, it's going to be a lot of people's favorite team, right? Coming in.
Yeah.
Obviously the new Utah team is going to be their favorite team, but they're going to want to see the teams they grew up watching. So it's awesome. Like home opener is what, Chicago?
Chicago. The first 2 games are original 6 teams, which I got accused of mansplaining the NHL to people on one of our posts on the Utah Puck Report because I was so excited that the Chicago Blackhawks and then the Boston Bruins are coming in.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's
I'm
so
sure
cool.
the NHL designed it that way to create more buzz, right? Like
Bedard
there was
being here, like, oh,
yeah, but there's a reason they moved out of Arizona.
Yeah.
They're gonna have an ownership group here that's probably second to none in the league, and that goes a long way to, as you know, recruiting players, creating a good culture, and I'm excited. I'm excited for our Grizzlies, and it's gonna be exciting to watch some NHL hockey as well.
Yeah, I agree, and I hope that I'm hoping to see, like I've been pretty vocal about, I think that the Grizzlies should be an AHL team. I think it should be the affiliate, and I think
that might come.
I think it might come.
Yeah.
I think you should be part of that coaching staff. I tell everybody that I talk to, which sometimes is just myself, but
anyone that'll listen.
Which I have a cat that listens pretty well. I do think that you should be part of any coaching staff that happens in that building. And I think you've paid your dues as a player, you paid your dues as a coach, and these opportunities that are coming up, I hope that these opportunities open up for you as well.
Yeah.
I hope they open up for me. I hope they open up for you. I hope they open up for Madison. Like, we're all hockey people that now there's more hockey opportunity, and I hope we all can reap the rewards.
Yeah, absolutely. I look forward to seeing what the future holds here.
All right, perfect. All right, that's it for the Utah Puck Report. We'll check in with Kinasewich later in the season, and that is the Utah Puck Report. I want to give a special thanks to Chipman Roofing. These are hockey people supporting the hockey community. It's Chipman Roofing. For all your roofing needs, just check out chipmanroofing.com. And if you like what you hear on the podcast, please leave a review, leave a rating. Wherever you listen to your podcast, make sure you give us a rating. Like to check out KSLSports.com as well. There's going to be more hockey on there. As more hockey comes up, it's going to be always right there, KSLSports.com. Big thanks to Madison Miller for putting up with us and making this thing work.